Hello. NFC predictions. Starting with NFC North. We've already done the AFC. We got the playoff picture and everything. Is the NFC worse than the AFC? More than likely. I'm not 100% sure, but more than likely. It's between NFC North and NFC South. So I should say NFC North. Gotta just flip the coin. Um, yeah, anyway. We're doing NFC North. It's the first time. It's the 24th at 3:50 a.m. I'll probably, I won't get up that soon, but relatively soon. You know what's crazy? The Ravens missed the playoffs, but I think they're a very good team. Anyway, um, yeah, NFC predictions. Let's get it started, I guess. I guess we just start with the Packers because they're just top of the NFC North right currently at 3-2, but we'll get into their games. Um, so yeah, week one they get the Vikings. Oh, I guess I should talk about the Packers first. The thing with the Packers is that they did lose Devontae Adams, but not only did they lose Devontae, well, they lost Devontae, that was about it. But their depth at receiver is horrible. There's nobody. There's Sammy Watkins. There's Christian Watson, right? That's the right guy. I talked about it in the Chiefs one too. I always get them too confused. I think this one's Christian Watson though. Oh, I think I'm wrong. Nope, I was right. I'm right. Okay. There's Christian Watson, rookie. There's Alan Lazard. Fine 2 or 3, but not as a 1. Sammy Watkins came in. That's going to be their saving grace, is Sammy Watkins. Anyway, Sammy fucking Watkins. Anyway, the defense is still like top notch. It has potential to be the number 1 defense. Secondary is probably maybe not the best secondary. No, as a whole, it probably is the best secondary. You have 2 good safeties. You have 2 great corners. Hey, you have 3 good corners. Because while Jair was out last year, it was who was the second guy? Because one was Kevin King, right? That is his name. He was very good. Yeah, he was very good. I just don't remember the other guy's name, but he was also very good. Well, he was decent. But yeah, everyone knows how good Jair is. I don't think that has to be really said. Um, but with his secondary, that's just kind of loaded and very deep secondary too. Specifically at corner, but you have like the second best corner in the league potentially. Definitely top 5 corner in the league, no doubt. And you have a good quarterback too, which is the problem with a lot of secondaries is that they have one good corner, Eric Stokes. Where's Kevin King? Did he dip? Oh, did he get out? No. Oh, he's a free agent? Question mark. News, I guess. Hold on. He's a free agent right now, so they're not here. But either way, Kevin King was fine last year. But either way, even without Kevin King, you had Eric Stokes, Rashawn Douglas. These two, very good. Jair was out last year, so I don't know how many games Jair was out. I think it was a lot, though. It was a lot of games, I think. I'm looking here, one sack, 1 interception, 13 combined. Or, yeah, I'm kind of dumb, but yeah, no, I'm right. Combined tackles. Please, my internet, please just work for 2 seconds. I just want to know how many games Zaire played, because I know it was not a lot. I know that, but I want to know how many he was out. Whatever. Nonetheless, Eric Stokes, very good at the time Jair was out. Kevin King was pretty decent, and then Rasal Doug. Like they're very deep corner. Um, it's crazy how deep they are at corner. So their cornerback play fine. Their safety duo fine. It may not be the strongest, but it's definitely up there. um, okay, I didn't mean to actually go back there. It's very good secondary as a whole. Their defensive line as a whole, pretty damn good. Devontae Campbell, Quay Walker, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gary. It's elite. It's top notch. This line is very fucking good. The offense, they have a top three quarterback in the league. They have a top two running back duo. I think, right? Because yeah, it's them second. I think probably top five running back duo. Their O line, very good. I mean, well, okay, it's good. It's not very good, but it's good nonetheless. What I'm saying is this team has a lot of talent, and while yeah, their offense might not be as high powered as like the Raiders or the Bills or the Bengals, it's not going to be as high powered as those. It's still Aaron Rodgers. Alan Lazard's going to get 1,000. One of their receivers will have 1,000 yards. One of them. Whether and most likely it's going to be Alan Lazard just because he's the one. But whether it be him, whether it be Sammy Watkins under some godforsaken earth, um, whether it be Christian Watson, whether it be Rondale Cobb, somebody's gonna put up 1,000 yards, and someone's gonna become overrated, but that's okay. Someone's gonna become overrated, but nonetheless, I think going into the season, they're still a very good team. Losing Tay sucks. They're still a great offense. They might not be top, five again, but they'll be around that top 10 margin, pretty much for certain. Pretty much, almost 100%. Um, so yeah, going into week one, they get the Vikings at home. They get the Vikings at home. Um, I think, ironically enough, this could be a decently tough one, just because it's just that offensive problem. I think their defense can keep them in check, so it's going to be a close game. It is realistically probably a 50-50 game, but the Vikings O line's not good. But everywhere else on offense, they're very good. Receivers, great duo. Um, Quarterback, very slept on. Kirk Cousins is not bad. He's not a game manager. He's actually just good. Is he top 10? Definitely not. But is he close? Definitely. Probably in that top 13 range. It's crazy how underrated he is, but he's very consistent. And I think he doesn't really struggle versus strong secondaries as much. I don't know. I think the Vikings did take one. I know the Vikings took one last year. I don't know. I don't think they swept them though. Sure. Yeah, they took this one. What about the other game? I'm assuming it was 2022 because that's how this crap works. Yeah, they took one. They took one game, all right. Was this a? I don't think it was Jordan Love, but let me check. Yeah, it was not Jordan Love. Jordan Love is not putting up 31 points. But it looks like Aaron Jones was out. Aaron Jones. But nonetheless, okay. Oh yeah, they also lost Marquez, Valdez, Scantling. Name is hard to say. So again, receiver room is worse. But um, that game was close. The Vikings have shown they can beat them, and then they've shown that they can get destroyed. It's probably a 50-50 game, though. It's going to be one of the closer ones where I think probably just because his Vikings offense is slightly better, probably. Like, I don't want to overrate the Vikings because they're constantly overrated. Not overrated, they're a good team, but it's just, they never do it. And I think they're going to get outcoached here, but I think they probably can manage trading off with the Packers, because it's not like their corners have to play elite. I know this is gonna be a rookie's first game in Andrew Booth, right? That's this one. I'm sorry. There's so many corners that win this draft. I'm pretty sure this one was Andrew Booth. I'm gonna double check this so I don't sound like I'm talking out of my ass. Maybe it's not. Okay, I was right. It's Andrew Booth's first actual game. He probably plays in preseason, but nonetheless, um, he and is probably a good starter for him because he doesn't have to guard any top-notch receiver. He has to guard Sammy fucking Watkins and Alan fucking Lazard. I don't think he's gonna struggle so much with that. Um, so I think the secondary can manage here. And it's not like the Vikings defense is that bad on paper. It's just I don't think it's gonna be very good. But nonetheless, um, Vikings here, I think they can pull it off. The Packers, I think. I mean, you look at last year versus the Saints; they got absolutely mollywopped. Um, but they cleaned their crap up. So I'm not gonna say they're bad going into week one, but nonetheless, is it gonna be close? Yes, but I think I trust the Vikings offense a little bit more in a close game, at least one time. I don't think I trust them twice, but then they got the Bears next week. They just lost. They're not going 0-2. The Bears are trash. The Packers are not. It's actually just pretty simple. I don't think I really have to describe this one. I'm pretty sure both games were pretty bad last year. I remember one game was actually decently close. It was like a two-score game, I think. One of the games. Yeah, see, this one was about two-score. Wait, hold on. This one's the year before. I'm gonna click on it just to double check. No, I know I'm right actually. I don't know. Please go back. Yeah, this one was 15 points. This one was not. I'm gonna double check this, but yeah, it's risky. I had to double check, but anyway, it was a two-score game. But they were both two-score games. Like, not close, but I've seen worse. If that means anything. But ultimately, the Bears have no reason to win this game. There's nothing promising really about the Bears. It's really only Justin Fields, but who's Justin Fields gonna throw to? Cole Kmet and not David Montgomery. Well, technically David Montgomery, but Darnell Mooney. Like, I mean, it's just kind of eh. Ultimately, it's Aaron Rodgers versus a year two player, a year two quarterback with not much talent on the team. I don't think he's really gonna struggle here. And a very bad defense, or not a bad defense because it really isn't horrible, but I think last year was actually bad. Like even the year before, though, defense kind of carried them to the playoffs. And kept them close versus the Saints, but they still lost for a reason. But week 3 they get the yep, they get the Buccaneers. These are always good. Rodgers versus Brady, but I think there's a reason. I mean, the Bucs are just better. A better receiver, maybe not better quarterback, but it's close. Better O line. Oh, probably better O line. Maybe, probably better def. Okay, so it's just I think the receiver depth here is a real big problem. The Bucks have 3 good receivers. The Packers have no good receivers. Okay, I think that's the biggest problem here. Is that Brady's throwing to real people. Aaron Rodgers is not. I think they played last year. Did they play last year? They did play, right? I'm pretty certain. Well, that's the conference championship. I wonder if they played in the regular season. I don't think they did. Okay. Well, I thought they did, but I don't know, dude. I think it's gonna be tough for the Packers to actually clean this out or pull this out. Because I think they're just playing against a much better offense and a much more well-rounded offense. That is, like their run game's better, their quarterback's better, their O line might be better, their defense is better, but I don't know, dude. I think they might struggle to put up actual points. They could probably drop 20, 25, but the Bucks and Brady can match that quite easily, ironically enough. So I think it'd be real tough to match Brady and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and what's the name? It's from the Falcons. The Falcons guy. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna Google it. No, I'm not gonna Google it. I know who I'm talking about. You probably know who I'm talking about. Uh, Very good wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. While the Packers have a no good 1, 2, or 3. So, week 4 versus the Patriots. Unfortunately, they're just playing the better team. Bad secondary as well. So, I think Aaron Rodgers can make Sammy Watkins go for 100 yards, or Alan Lazard, or whoever the hell you want to see this game. Honestly, um, I think that Mac Jones isn't throwing to anyone. Oh, okay, he's throwing to people, but not good people. He's not throwing to good receivers. Neither is Rodgers. But here it's like their defense is better, O line's probably better, running game's better. I mean, there's no reason the Packers can't win this one, especially because I doubt they go 1-3 to start. That just seems bad. Even though they get 2 freebies the next 2 weeks, I really think 3 freebies really. If you want to count Washington as a freebie, interesting. Um, I don't know. Game shouldn't. I mean, it's probably going to be like a 1 or 2 score game. But I think stats probably, or not stats, but I think the final score probably lies a little bit. I don't think it's actually a close game like ever. The week 5, they get Giants. Giants suck. Packers don't. That's all I got to say. There's nothing. They don't beat them in anything. The Packers are actually just better everywhere. Probably not a receiver. Kadarius Toney. Who the fuck are the Giants receivers? I actually don't know because Kenny Galladay's gone now. That was the only one. Oh wait, is he not gone? Oh, I thought he was gone. Okay, well he's not gone. So, I knew Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney, but I thought for some reason Kenny Galladay was gone. I don't know why I thought that actually. Oh well. Um, there's nothing better except maybe their receiving room. Their defense is piss poor. Their O line's piss poor. Their run game is fine. I guess Saquon's fine. Their quarterback play is piss poor. There's nothing. They have nothing. They have nothing to beat the Packers here with. Then we got the Jets. It's kind of just a situation of the Jets are worse everywhere except receiver. There's no reason they should lose this to the Packers. Putting them at 4-2 to start the season. Good job. You do have. I'm just trying to think because Washington, I don't think they beat them, but they could pull off the upset. Like Wentz is really overhated. Like Wentz was fine majority of the season. You got to realize this. Wentz was perfectly fine most of the season. It's just he wasn't good. And then obviously when it really mattered most, he kind of just vanished. And he threw the game away. Or he just kind of shit the buck the last game versus the Jags. But nonetheless, like, I don't see why Washington would win this. But, like, with Carson Wentz decides to go out for like 300 yards, Terry McLaurin probably consisting of like half of those. If Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic actually work out, um, their O line's better. If the Washington defense is actually I'm very hesitant to say how good Washington is because I think they're overhated and they're probably a little bit underrated, but I don't think they're gonna make any crazy run. I mean, you gotta realize that Washington defense 2 years ago was very good, and then suddenly Chase Young gets injured, and they're really bad. That's all I got to say. The offense, this is the best quarterback Terry McLaurin's had since ever. Since ever. Who did you have in college? He had an Ohio because he was from Ohio, right? I don't know who was there at the time, in like 2017, 18 area. Was it? No, I don't think Fields was there at this point. I have no idea. I don't really care. Um, Nonetheless, it's literally the best quarterback Jerry's had ever. But I think that's only going to be so good, especially wins versus since it's hit the buckets in the worst kind of games. And versus the Packers, it's one of those worst kind of games where he kind of just hits the bucket. I think. Um, Very good defense as a whole, and the Washington defense might also be good, but I don't know that it's going to be enough. Especially because that Washington secondary is questionable at worst, or at best. I think the Packers are probably a more well-rounded team. The Week 8 versus the Bills, shootout, very good game, very good game. But I think the problem here is that the Bills have receivers and the Packers don't. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to keep this game close? Yes, but will he be able to win this game? Probably not. He's already won 4 straight. It's just gonna be a kick in the chest and say, "Hey, you're not. You can only do so much. If Rodgers can only do so much, um, sucks for him, I guess. But I don't think he can match it. I don't think he can match Diggs and Davis and guys. Also, the defense being very good from the Bills. It's like you actually have guys to guard these piss poor receivers on the Packers. So it's like I don't see any reason why the Bills lose this. It's probably going to be close just because it's Aaron Rodgers, but I don't see it. I don't see him winning it. The Week 9 versus the Lions, really cool. Really cool game. Um, Sleeper pick because I could pick the Lions here, and I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it. I don't. Okay, so the Lions are not necessarily underrated, but they have a very decent receiving core. Unproven, but it's probably going to be good. Very good O line. Very good running back duo. Or a good running back duo. Um, and a pretty upgraded defense. I'm not gonna say good defense. I think that the Packers. It's kind of that situation where they beat them everywhere except receiver and maybe O line, but I don't think so. Packers O line is probably still better. Um, I think it's just a situation where would I trust Jared Goff to win a game or Aaron Rodgers? And well, here's where I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers. um, Next game versus the Cowboys. I'm not sure because I know at face value it's like, oh yeah, obviously Rodgers and what's his name, Packers. But like, the Cowboys are not a terrible team. You gotta realize this. The Packers are not a terrible team. Or the Cowboys. I said Packers. I meant Cowboys. The Cowboys are not a terrible team. Um, yeah, did they get worse? Obviously, lost Amari Cooper and lost their best O lineman, but their O line is still very good. Probably, it's probably still going to be a top 5 O line. Well, probably top 10 O line, definitely. Um, they still have a good wide receiver one in CD. They still have a good wide receiver two in Michael Gallup. They still have a very promising defense that can force turnovers. I didn't really talk about turnovers either. Uh, Here, that's really going to be noticeable, and here also is going to be very noticeable in these two games where it could be close on paper, except I think they can turn over the ball while they maybe can't. And same thing here. I think the Packers can probably turn over the ball versus Carson Wentz. Nonetheless, going back to the Cowboys situation, I think the Cowboys are becoming kind of underrated. or overhated, not necessarily underrated, but overhated, and that's for certain. Um, but I don't know because I think it's that situation again of hmm, who do I trust more? And it obviously be Aaron Rodgers over Dak, but maybe Diggs won't let up anyone to go for over 2,000 million yards. Like, and I think there it's gonna work out because Diggs doesn't have to cover some crazy good receiver, so he's not gonna look terrible. He's probably gonna look good this game. He could probably force a turnover. Um, I'm gonna take the Cowboys and kind of probably an upset, but probably an upset. I just think that I trust the Cowboys more as a whole than I do the Pack. I'm not just okay. Hold on. I'm not gonna go on yet because hmm, this is tough. I think it's close. I think it's close, and I think it comes down to who do I trust more in a close game. And we saw last year where Dak, well, it's more play calling. Dak in clutch time in the regular season was fine, really. Hmm. Who could put up more points? That's kind of how the football game works. But I think it's tough for Rodgers to make Sammy and Allen and Randall and Christian Watson and other wide receivers to make them look good here versus a probably fine secondary. Diggs obviously won't force the turnovers like he did last year, but he's still gonna force some. He's still good at that. His coverage is probably gonna be better. Hopefully, I would hope it's better than last year's because all he could do is force turnovers and get burnt. So hey, at least he picked out the ball, right? Right. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Not necessarily because I think they're better, but it's kind of just in crunch time, right? In crunch time, who's gonna catch the ball from Rodgers? And I don't think I trust Sammy Watkins to be clutch. I don't know that I trust Alan Lazard to be clutch. I don't think I trust a rookie to be clutch. Well, okay, that's kind of overhating, but I mean we saw JJS, I saw Jamar Chase go crazy their rookie years, but I don't know that I see Christian Watson doing the same. Christian Watson do very well this year, 100%. Will he do well this year? 100%. But will he quite, will he be able to carry the team? I don't think he's going to be able to carry the team like Jamar and uh, Justin Jefferson. I don't think he's going to quite be able to do that. I think that's going to show versus the Cowboys specifically, where they could probably actually force a turnover again. Because like, there's no good route runners on the Packers either. Like, there's no way things can get burnt. Because who's gonna like, I don't know, dude. I think the Cowboys are probably gonna make the game close, and not because the Packers, oh, because the Packers are good, but just because I think the Cowboys are not that good of a team. Like, they're a good team, but they're not really good, like top notch of the NFC. Hmm. Not sure, but I'm gonna take the Cowboys. Then we get the Tennessee versus Packers. I already talked about this game in the AFC South video, but I think aren't they coming off like a bye week or some crap? Hold up, let's go back and look. No, they're not. I just completely and utterly lied to myself. Okay, anyway, I took them because I think that here, um, Derrick Henry's probably gonna have, not even probably, it's just gonna be a good game. Another close one, lots of close ones, but I think here, uh, the Texans, not Texans, the Titans secondary is not great, but it's not a bad secondary. So it's a lot of unproven guys. Not to say unproven, some of them are proven to be good, but it's promising. Okay, it's promising. Titans defense is probably gonna be good still. Um, so I think the secondary is really gonna show here to be how good it actually is. Um, and I think even if, as long as the secondary forces, even one turnover, it's probably good. They're gonna rely on Henry, obviously, and I don't trust a rookie and Robert Woods necessarily, but I still think that, ironically enough, I still think that receiver room is better than the Packers. So I think, well, Tannehill is significantly worse than Rodgers, and it's not really close. It's quite the drop off. Um, I think they're fine. I think that um, I think they can still do work. That is, I still think they can. I think they can do good enough to beat the Packers here. Just because I think a lot of the game you can rely on Derrick Henry, and when you have to rely on Tannehill, Tannehill's just a game manager, and sometimes he does a good job of it, and sometimes he does a terrible job of it. And as long as he can manage the game like he normally does, he doesn't have to have a good game, but as long as he can manage the game, I think Derrick Henry can put up enough good touchdowns and scores, and I still think Tannehill could throw 1 or 2 touchdown passes, obviously. I mean, their receiving room's not great, but I've seen worse. They're facing a worse receiving room, ironically enough. Well, maybe they're not, but nonetheless, I think the Titans can pull it out because I think they're really needing a win at this point. While the Packers don't necessarily need a win, they would really like it, but I still think they're okay. I don't think they go to a 3-game skid. I think that the Eagles may probably can win this game, and they're going to keep it close. But I just don't see the Packers losing 3 in a row. The Packers have a hard schedule, but I think they're gonna beat good teams, right? And I think the Eagles are probably a winnable team, winnable game versus a good team. That is. Um, Eagles secondary as a whole very good. The defense is just very good. The offense probably very good, but we're not sure how good Jalen Hurts is going to be. And at this point, we're gonna know how good Jalen Hurts is going into Week 12. But I think that while we are gonna know how good Jalen Hurts is, it's probably gonna be good too. Good enough at least. I think that here I trust Hurts, Rodgers to be able to look good here. I just don't think he's gonna drop 3 in a row. I just don't feel it. Um, yeah, I think that the Eagles are a very good team. They're almost a contender, almost. Um, but if not, like if they aren't a contender, they're close. But I just don't see them dropping 3 in a row because at that point they'd be 6-6, right? If they drop this and then did not have this game, yeah, they'd be 6-6. And I don't know if I see that. I don't know if I see them going 6-6 at this point. So sitting at 7-5 to get Chicago, it's the same shit as last time. There's no reason they can't beat this team. Coming off a bye week versus the Rams, they haven't won a home game since week 6. They're coming off a bye week. Is it gonna be hard? Yes, but I think that Rodgers, knows his shit. I think he knows how to play the damn game. I think they have not won a home game since week 6. I think that they're coming off a bye week of an entire week to prepare for these Rams, while the Rams are probably contenders, and the Packers probably aren't contenders realistically, but they're close. I think that here it's just going to be a matter of more preparation, you know. Um, is it going to be close? Yes, but I think the situation is more. You know, it's Monday Night Football. It's at home, coming off a bye week. Haven't won a home game since week 6. I think everything stacks up to the Packers being able to beat them here. Not because they're the better team, but I think the situation favors them a little bit more. Um, week 16 versus Miami. This could be a tough one. But I think that the Packers defense can hold Tua and friends, and I think I would trust A-Rod here to be able to not necessarily like the secondary as a whole is probably but not great. But Xavier Howard's promising, or not even promising. The dude is just good. He's just still very good. Slept on at this point, but you know he's a very good corner. But unfortunately, he doesn't have to guard one good receiver because there is no defining one good receiver. Um, you know, so I think the Packers can pull it out just because. I mean, I already said why, but Aaron Rodgers has been here, done that. you know, while Tua probably. I mean, let's see, isn't they aren't they on like a good streak or something at this point? Because I remember, yeah, versus the Packers, and they just lost to the Bills. They just lost to the Chargers, and they're gonna lose to the Packers. Um, I think this was interesting. I think it's another close one. I think this game's close. I think this game's close. I think this game's close. This game's close. This game's close. This game's probably not that close. This game's close. Like I think every game with the Packers versus good teams is gonna be close, but I think they're gonna win some of them. And I think here they're coming off a win versus a better team. They should be able to pull it out versus Miami. Then week 17, they're not gonna get swept by the Vikings. They're gonna clutch it out here. And I think that's the only reason is that they're just not gonna get swept by the Vikings. Um, at this point, the Vikings might need a win, but the Packers also don't necessarily need it. But you know, they would rather not go 10-7 if they lose this game. I don't know if they have the division locked up, so I'm gonna wait on this. I'll do the Vikings next to determine it. But yeah, I'll do the Vikings next. But I think that here, Aaron Rodgers is not gonna get swept by the Vikings, and the offense. I think this is where they figured out their mistakes from last time. The secondary, obviously, you know, worked well for the Vikings last time, but is it going to be able to work again? He's gonna have a groove with somebody on this team at this point. Like week 1 here, he's working with guys he's never really in the position they are in. He's never worked with. And what I mean by that is he's never worked with Alan Lazard as a wide receiver 1. He's never worked with Christian Watson because the man's a rookie. He's never worked with Sammy Watkins. You know, he's never worked with these guys in their positions. So, but here at this point, he's gonna have worked with them for the entire season. He's gonna have a groove with somebody. He's gonna be fine. And then week 18, I don't know if he's division locked up yet, so we're gonna wait. If he has it locked up, then they probably rest starters, which means the Lions probably win, especially because they're probably gonna be needing this win if they win any playoff shot. Um, so yeah, we'll go ahead. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Um, But yeah, I think if they need the win, then the Lions and then the Packers will get it. If they don't need it and they're resting starters, then the Lions will get it. Put it simple. On to the Vikings. Week 1, I already have them beating the Packers. I just talked about it on the Packers side. I'm not going to go over it again. Basically, just saying that Rodgers versus doesn't have anyone to throw to. The secondary isn't that great, but I think it's going to show how promising it can be here. The defense as a whole can't be that bad, right? It's decent on paper. It's never really been that. It hasn't been good since um what 2017, 2016, 2017. I think it was 2017. Maybe the 2016-2017 season. I don't know. But over the season with the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Because 2018 was the Rams, 2019 was the Chiefs, 2020 was the Chiefs. 2021 was yeah, okay, so it'd be 2017. Um, they haven't really got a good defense since then. Um, yeah, I don't think it's gonna change too much this season, but nonetheless, I think it's good enough where they can guard, piss poor receivers. I already talked about it. I'm not gonna go over it again. Week 2 versus the Eagles. Very good offense. Very good offense. Not a good defense. Pretty good defense. I think the Eagles at home. It's Monday Night Football. Uh, Hurts works with Let me think. Let me think. I think this game will be close. I say that a lot. I also think this one's gonna be close. But this one might honestly not be close. But like, doesn't Kirk just score like historically like suck on Monday Night Football or some crap? I'm gonna Google this, but isn't there some crap with like how he sucks on Monday Night Football? Or is he really good? Oh, he's really good. Oh no, he's really bad. He's what I'm talking about. Okay, whatever. So they just can't win on Monday Night Football. I have a string on my shirt. Ow. Unfortunate. Either way, um, I don't believe in conspiracies like that crap. So here we are. Um, I think here they're coming off a win, so they probably have momentum. But the Eagles are they coming off a win? They're coming off a win. Never mind. They're coming off a win as well. Um, and I think here it's like I think the Eagles are a good team, while Minnesota is probably not the greatest. I think the secondary probably struggled versus Aaron Rodgers, but they probably did it. And I think here they're going to struggle again. And I think here's where they don't do it because there's actual receivers they got to cover. They got to cover Devontae Smith. They got to cover what's his name from Tennessee? AJ Brown. AJ Brown. They got to cover AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. And I think it could be really hard to do that. And if they can stop them, they got to stop the run game, which includes Jalen Hurts, which I think this really gonna be tough. I don't think this one requires too much. I don't think they can. I don't think the defense can stop them. While I think that the Eagles secondary is pretty promising, and that if they can come up with literally just one turnover, I think it's fine. I think the O line's better as well, and I don't know that the pass rush is better, but it might be. It just might be. Week 3, Vikings Lions. It's at home. They play the Lions again. Week 14, nonetheless. Huh. Here, coaching here. Well, I guess like the Eagles coaching isn't that good either, though. But got to take into a coaching account as well. Um, here, I don't know about week 3 versus the Lions because I feel like the Lions probably like as a whole are not necessarily better on paper. They're probably better in more positions though. Like they're probably better O line. They're better on defense, probably. I'm not sure. It's probably close on paper, but either way, I think that I trust Kirk to do this versus Jared Goff. I'm pretty sure that Kirk Cousins can put up a lot of points. Well, I don't know that Jared Goff can put up a lot of points. um, week 4 versus, and it's at home too, which I don't necessarily think that matters too incredibly much, but it matters. Week 4 versus the Saints. I'm very high on the Saints. I will say that right now. I'm very high on the Saints. But I think the Saints defense as a whole is probably too much, especially with the Vikings defense probably not being that good. Jameis Winston's probably going to ball out. And I know I say probably a lot, but like I'm predicting things that happen in, let's see, what does this happen? In October. It is July. It is July. Everything is just probably. So, nonetheless, I think the Saints defense is more proven and is better. Even if like everyone of the Vikings worked out. I think the Vikings Saints defense is still definitely better. I think the Saints offense with Thomas, with Kamara, if Kamara is not suspended, because I don't know what the jurisdiction around that is, but um, I just think the Saints defense probably is gonna shit the bucket here, and while Kirk probably also puts up good numbers, I don't think it's gonna be enough, you know. Um, the Week 5 versus the Bears. The Vikings are a decent team. The Bears are not. That's all I got to say. Yeah, they're just not a good team, really. The Bears, they're just not. um, I keep trading wins too. I am trading a win again in Week 6 versus Dolphins. I think here defense is shine, and I think the Miami defense is probably better. But I think Tua can actually do really well here. I think I talked about that in the Miami video as well, or the AFC East video. But I think Tua can actually do pretty well here. As long as Tua is like a serviceable starter, and then I think most of their games in close games will be okay. I think it'll be okay. Definitely a winnable game for both of them. Honestly, it can go either way, but I think Miami's better on paper, especially when they're playing at home in Miami. They get a bye week and go into Week 8 versus the Cardinals. Um, they're coming off a bye week. It's at home. It's not. The situation's probably better for them, but I'm not sure. They've won every home game at this point, so we're gonna keep it that way. You know what? We're gonna keep it that way. We're gonna keep it that way versus the Cardinals. I think that this is probably a close game because both defenses are not that good. The Cardinals is probably worse though. Um, and while I think Kyler's very good and can carve this defense alive, um, I think this Cardinals offense is gonna be fine. I think it's good, but I think the O line too, with the Vikings promising pass rush, it's gonna be tough because just this Cardinals O line is bad. Okay, I do want to acknowledge that this Cardinals O line is bad. Um, any type of credit it gets just because Kyler Murray knows how to be mobile. Um, any type of decency it gets is just because Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray is a very good quarterback. But I think it's gonna be tough, especially because Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback itself. Uh, I don't know that D Hop's gonna be. Actually, no, D Hop won't be here. Will he be? How long is his suspension? When does he come back? I guess I got top view. How long is it? I don't remember. 6 games. Oh, so this would be his second game back, right? Unless their bye week is. No, this would be his second game back. Because he'll be suspended these weeks. So this would be his second game back, which is nice. But I don't know if that's gonna be enough. I don't know if he's gonna be 100% at this point. Cause like even last year, like okay, the situation's really bad for Dion because last year he was injured a lot and wasn't too good. When he was playing, he was good, but he was injured. So then now he's coming off 6 game suspension. I don't know. It's probably good for D Hop in this case because the Vikings don't necessarily know. Well, no. I was gonna say that the Vikings don't necessarily know how good D Hop is, but they're gonna see the previous week. They're gonna be ready. I think their Vikings are gonna be ready. The Vikings coaching is probably worse, but I don't know that Cliff Kingsbury is all that good himself. So I don't know. The Vikings are undefeated at home. We're gonna keep it that way. How about that? Then we're going to Week 9. Vikings versus Washington. Washington at home. I think I'm gonna take Washington, and let me say why. because I think that Carson Wentz is a pretty slept on. People hate on him a lot because he shit the bucket versus the Jaguars in the final game where it would have made it the playoffs and they probably could have been a very good team for the playoffs. He did shit the bucket. I'll agree. Was he really bad last year? No, not as a whole. As a whole, he was not bad. We gotta realize that him as a whole was not bad. His whole season, like his touchdown to interception ratio was not bad. His play wasn't that bad. His stats as a whole just weren't bad. Um, Nothing was that good though. And if you actually watched some of the Colts games, you realize that this man was not good. Good. Was he a game manager? I don't know about that. I think in the games he did not shit the bucket, he was better than a game manager. But in the games where he did shit the bucket, um, he was worse than a game manager. He was just an unserviceable quarterback that cannot start in the NFL. But I think that here versus a pretty not good defense, it's promising but not necessarily good. Probably going to be uh, Washington's defense is probably better. They have Terry McLaurin. Um, I talked about it with the Packers too. It's the best quarterback Terry McLaurin's had ever. Um, but and I think that sometimes it's going to be enough. And I think versus the Vikings specifically, they can probably pull off the upset, especially it being at home. Um, when's the Washington bye week? I'm gonna check this too. It's week 14, so I don't need to worry about it. I think here they can probably do fine, and manage to pull out a W. Washington can. And the Vikings lose to teams that they probably shouldn't to at times, and I think this is one that's probably gonna happen where they lose to a team they probably shouldn't. Week 10 versus the Bills. They're coming off a game they should not have lost, and so they're gonna lose to a team they should lose to. Bills are better like everywhere. Better quarterback, better receiver. As a whole, they're probably not better, but their wide receiver one. Oh, the wide receiver one is not even better. Okay, so the Vikings are better at receiver, but that's about it. I mean, tight end, they're better. Defense, they're better. Their O line's better. Their quarterback, better. Their run game is not better. Dalvin Cook is much better, and Alexander Madison. But nonetheless, I think the Bills are just kind of better everywhere, and I trust the Bills defense to be able to stop and not let up 40 points. Well, I think the Bills very well could put up 40 points. Um, Vikings versus the Cowboys. I think this is gonna be probably a tough one, but I think that they've dropped two in a row, right? They've dropped two games in a row. The Cowboys probably are not that good, but I think the Vikings still probably a good team, right? And I think the Cowboys are kind of good enough to win this game, but I think the Vikings are also good enough to win this game. Yeah, I think that they're also good enough to win this game. The Vikings are, and so it's probably gonna be close, but I think I trust Dak plus CD plus Michael Gallup, and with a good consistent run game, with a good O line, with a good defense that can force turnovers. I think I trust the Cowboys' more well-rounded roster. And while the Cowboys maybe aren't the greatest team, I think they can give the Vikings their first home loss of the season at this point. Because then the Vikings get two kind of easy games. The Patriots just kind of suck. They're not good, but they're not bad either. Like they're not terrible. Mac Jones is pretty good. Pretty good. Their receivers are pretty bad, but at least they're there. They exist. The receivers do suck though. And they lost to Kill Harry, who Kill Harry also sucked and was really bad, and probably was lucky that he got traded for a 7th-round pick. Honestly, he's lucky. First-round pick that got traded for a 7th-round pick. Oh, you're a lucky team. Um, Nonetheless, I think that the Vikings have a better offense, and honestly, their defense might even be better than the Patriots. I think the Patriots are gonna really struggle this season, and I think the Vikings are probably gonna be their old 8-9 self again, or about there. Actually, they probably won't be. I don't know. We'll figure that out in a second. Um, but yeah, and they get a Week 13 win versus the Jets. They're just the better team. Week 14, I think that the Vikings at this point, what are they? They're 6-6. We can get this win back. They're 6-6. Um, so I think they could finally put out in the positive versus the Lions. I know that the Lions probably should win this. I think at face value, the Lions. I think at face value, the Lions should probably trade with the Vikings. I don't think they're much different. I don't think these teams are too separated. But I think the Vikings are kind of in a must-win scenario. Because the reason that their later schedule is tough. They got to beat the Packers. They got to beat the Colts. And I don't know that they can do that. I have them not doing that, ironically enough. Um, and I think definitely both in these cases it's going to be a coaching problem. So, but here I think that again this offense might just be a little bit too much for the Lions. Uh, while the coaching is probably better, I think the offense is just the Vikings offense is a little bit much. While it wasn't a little bit much last year, I think I still think that Vikings Lions game was kind of a fluke, but not really. It was a Vikings. They're gonna lose to teams they shouldn't, but I already have them losing to a team they shouldn't in Washington. Um, so yeah, and they're facing the Colts in Week 15. Um, Colts are a very good team actually. Uh, I think they're better pretty not necessarily pretty much everywhere, but I think that Matt Ryan's gonna really do really well here. I'm turning this down. Actually, I'm gonna turn it down on my computer so it's not too loud for me. But I think that Matt Ryan's probably gonna be really good here. Good O line from there. So I don't know that the Vikings pass rush, while it's pretty promising with Darius Smith and all the other guys, I think that it's gonna be really tough to pull it out because I think this secondary from the Colts is really promising. They got two good corners. The Vikings have two good receivers. um, Gilmore and Kenny Moore, both a little bit unproven, but at this point they're gonna be proven. Um, I think they're gonna be good. So I think they're gonna be able to cover um, both Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And while it's not necessarily going to be easy to cover Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, I think they can do it well enough where Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, which is going to run all over this team because this Vikings run defense is not really that good. Um, I think it's going to be really hard to stop Jonathan Taylor here, and I think if everything else goes wrong, Jonathan Taylor is not going to go wrong. Um, so yeah, then they're going to Week 16. Um, it's the Giants. The Giants suck. That's all I got. Is that the Giants suck. um, uh, better quarterback, better receivers, better O line. Honestly, this defense might even be better. Like, there's no reason they can't be the Giants. The Giants are terrible, and that's it. The Giants are terrible. The Week 17 I talked about on the Packers side. I don't think the Vikings can sweep the Packers. I think coaching gets them at least one time. I think the Packers really would like this Week 17 win to pretty much to lock up the division. I think they win this game, and then in Week 18, um, the Vikings should not lose to the Bears. I don't see it. The Bears are terrible. The Vikings are pretty good. Not good, but they're serviceable. Uh, the Bears are better nowhere. Just simply they're better nowhere. So yeah, the Vikings in 9-8. Um, that's not a bad record, but it's not a good one. It's not a good one. I must say that, and because of that, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Packers game where they beat or they lose to the Lions because they already had this game locked up. Or I don't know what this means, but whoops. Um, sure. I don't know what this means, but sure. They lose to the Lions just because they already have the division locked up and they don't really need to win. Um, so yeah, Vikings actually have the best division record in the division, but I don't think that matters because I think the Vikings are not a clutch team. Simply put, they're not cut out coaching wise. They're not cut out for it. And while the Vikings improve by one game, it's probably not enough to make the playoffs. I know currently they're in because they're a 7 seed, but that's also without like for San Fran. That's also without San Fran. That's really the only. So like it's also without Lions, which I don't think the Lions are really competing for a playoff spot. But it's gonna be between like currently. So currently how it's standing is Cowboys, Eagles, Bucks, Saints, Rams, Packers, and 49 Vikings make it. That's without the 49ers, but I think the 49ers are really the only one competing. I think everyone else kind of just sucks. The Cardinals are not good. The Seahawks not good. Bears and Lions both not that good. Panthers Falcons not good. Washington probably isn't competing for a playoff spot, but they're decent. The Washington's decent. And the Giants are not good. So I think the NFC being weaker and not very deep works out for them, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. Because I think the 49ers are currently 2-3 and they're the 8th seed, but I'm pretty certain that the Vikings missed the playoffs because I'm pretty certain that the 49ers passed 9-8. I'm almost 100% sure, unless their schedule was just insane. Then we get a week 9. Wait, not week 9. I was looking at the seeding, where they're seeded 9th, but then we get to the Lions. I can't wait to talk about these Lions games and how they're way overhyped because they're not really that good of a team. Okay, they're we'll talk about it when we get there, but they're a decent team. Good O line, serve game manager quarterback. Um, Pretty decent receiving room. Defense could be better, but it's getting better. It's probably gonna be better from last year, but I just don't know how good it's actually gonna be. But and a good run game too. Like they're promising, but I don't know that they're promising enough to make the playoffs. Week 1 they have the Eagles. I think the Eagles are more polished. I think the Eagles are a little bit more polished than the Lions, and I think the Eagles are slightly better, kind of everywhere. Better quarterback, probably a slightly better O line, probably a slightly better receiving room. Uh, Running back room. Miles Sanders is good, but hasn't really done too much. I think the run game as a whole is better, but I think the in terms of running backs, I think the Lions got them. But I think the Eagles defense is also good. Well, I'm not sure how good the Lions defense is going to be. I think the Eagles are going to start hot and beat the Lions. And I don't know how the Lions would win this unless Jared Goff actually just ends up being better. But at this point, there's no reason for Jared Goff to be any better than he was last year. Week 2 versus Washington. Um, I think they can. I think they can beat Washington. I think. I think because hold on, who's Washington play week 1? They play the Jags week 1. I actually picked them to lose. Um, uh, but I think this is two bad teams facing off. Except the only benefit one has is that one's at home. Like in terms of like on paper, Wentz is better than Goff, but the Lions have a better receiving room. They might have a better. I don't think their run game's better. I think Antonio Gibson, JD McKissic's better. Washington O line's worse. Like it's close on paper, and I think it's close on paper, and I think that I think in terms of offense, I think Washington has a better, a better wide receiver one. Um, which might be the only thing really helping them clutch this win out. I think Terry McLaurin can probably, carry this team to a victory here at least. Um, the Lions probably wins. It's probably going to be close, but I think I trust Carson Wentz, who's a better quarterback, and Terry McLaurin, who's a better receiver, um, than Jared Goff. And who's their one? Is it DJ Chark? Wait, no. It is DJ Chark. Or is it Amon St. Brown? Either way. Terry McLaurin's better than both of them. So, um, the week 3, I finally have to. Wait, no, I'm looking at the Vikings. I have them losing to the Vikings again. Um, I just think that the Vikings are probably more proven and probably more secure in the offensive side of the ball. Um, Justin Jefferson, uh, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. I think they're just better on offense. I think it's really going to show here. While they might not necessarily be better on defense, the Vikings defense is probably serviceable, and I think it's really going to show here. I think this game's probably a blowout, just because I think the offense is probably unmatched by the Lions. Week 4, they're facing the Seahawks. I think they finally get a win here because they're not a terrible team. They're really not a terrible team. They're definitely improving off of last year. And I think they could beat teams they probably should not have. But nonetheless, um, they're still not an elite team, but they're better than the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks situation at quarterback is going to be hard to deal with. Um, I think the Lions are more secure. I think the Lions are a little bit safer. We're not exactly how good the Seahawks are going to be, but they're probably going to be really bad. They have good receivers, which the Lions can't really guard. But I mean, hell, who's going to guard? Who's going to guard the Lions receivers too? That the Seattle defense is significantly worse. Honestly, I'm willing to say significantly worse than the Lions. I think the Seahawks defense is incredibly bad. More than likely, it's just incredibly bad. So yeah, I think they lose. Or I can finally and they're 0-3. I don't think the Lions are gonna go 4 this time. I don't think they're gonna go undefeated or undefeated. I guess going into week 11 or whenever they got their first win. I don't really remember when they did, but I don't think it's gonna be a situation like that. Week 5 versus the Patriots. Patriots at home. I think they're gonna get outcoached. I think probably better quarterback play too. And a more secure defense. Well, I don't think the Patriots defense is any good really. I think they're even more top heavy than the Lions, and that's saying something considering the Lions, considering the Patriots are not very top heavy. But I think the Patriots are just a bit more top heavy. I think that's enough to secure them a W here at home, and just the coaching wise, I think kind of kills the Lions here. I think we get the bye week and going to week 7. I think here is going to be their first upset win. They're coming off a bye week. The Cowboys. I don't think this is a game they should win. I think there's no reason they should win it. But I think here they're coming off a bye week, which is really promising for them, and it's at home for the Cowboys. It's Cowboys at home. But I don't know. I think they're coming off a bye week. I think they're gonna win games they shouldn't, and I think this is a prime example of a game they should not win, but they're going to. And that's really it. I don't think they're better. I really don't think the Lions are a better team than the Cowboys, but I have them getting the upset here because I think they're gonna win a game they shouldn't. And I think this is the game they're gonna win when they shouldn't. The week 8 versus Miami. They're just a better team than Miami. You got Tyreek, you got Waddle. You got a pretty decent run game. You have 4 capable running backs, so you really don't know who the one is. Whether it be Gesicki, whether it be Chase Edmonds, whether it be anyone, literally any of them. So you have 4 good, solid, decent. I keep changing my thing, but 4 decent running backs. I think Miami's kind of favored here, especially coming off an already upset win versus the Cowboys. I don't think you're going to do it twice in a row. The week 9 versus the Packers. I think I trust Aaron Rodgers significantly more than anyone on this Lions roster. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers versus Jared Goff in 2022. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I got to say. Week 10 versus the Bears. The Bears are really fucking bad. Uh, the Lions. I don't think the Lions are necessarily better significantly, but I think they're better good enough. I think they're a good enough team. You know, the Bears' run game is pretty solid with Fields plus David Montgomery, but that's about it. The Lions actually have some promise at receiver, promise at, on defense, a good O-line. Well, the Bears just don't really have much working for them. Genuinely, like nothing. The Week 11 versus the Giants. The Giants, it's the same shit with the Bears. There's nothing working for them. And nothing's really favored here for the Bears. For the Giants. Giants quarterback plays worse. Their receivers are worse. Their run game is probably better. Their O line is worse. Their defense is probably worse. Like it's just everything is worse. They're just another bad team. Like the last week versus the Bears are gonna, well, I don't know, blow it out again, and just better coaching probably, more than likely better coaching. But then week 12 they put in their place versus the Bills. It's a blowout win. It's not close at all. I shouldn't have to explain this one. The Bills are significantly the better team. Week 13 versus the Jaguars, probably an upset win. Why is it Thursday night football? Why is a Lions game on Thursday night football? Who cares to watch that? No, anyway. I think that. Fuck, I got crap on my foot now. Well, not literal crap, but rain on it. Here I think the Lions are a little bit more well-rounded than the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are gonna win games and lose games they shouldn't. Probably it's gonna be close. It's two bad teams. I was just looking at games they should not win that they did, but I don't think I actually had them upsetting anybody. No, I really didn't have them upsetting anyone except like Washington in week 1, if you want to count that. Yeah, I have them beating Jags. I think as long as they play decent, as long as everyone plays decent, I think they could do it. I just don't think the Jags are a great team. And I think the Lions are a little bit more well-rounded. The week 14, they get the Vikings again. It's going to be the same exact thing as last time. The Vikings are just better on offense as a whole. I don't think they're necessarily I don't think they're I'm going to sweep you in the same season 2 times. I don't think they're that much better of a team, but I think they're just a better team as a whole. It's the same thing as last time. Week 15 versus the Jets. It's just 2 bad teams facing off. It's just it's the same thing as the Giants and the Bears, except the Jets are a little bit better than them. Probably. No, it's not probably. They just are better than them. That's about it. I don't really, there's just another bad team that the Lions are going to beat. The Lions are the best of the bad teams. They are a bad team, and they're still considered a bad team, but they are the best of the bad teams. I think here versus Panthers, though, if I had them winning both of these games, first off, they'd be 9-8. We can't have that, and they're definitely going to beat the Bears. So here you are. You're not going to beat the Panthers. And okay, so I know I'm kind of just dunking on them. Hold on. The Panthers. I think the Panthers defense is going to be next to elite. I think it's probably going to be I think it's definitely going to be a top 10 defense. The Panthers defense is legit. And you're going to have Baker plus DJ Moore, which might not be that good, but you also got Rashad Higgins there on the Panthers, which is nice. Panthers O-line is probably not going to be that good, but it's probably going to be a little bit better because you got you drafted guys. What, Charles Cross went there, I believe. I'm gonna fact check this. You know who I'm talking about. I believe so. No, that went to the Seahawks. Who did the Panthers draft then? Depth chart. They drafted someone for the O-line, I think. It was not Charles Cross. They drafted someone, I think. If I'm wrong, then oh well. But I think either way, um, I think Baker is just a better quarterback. And while I don't think Baker's a great quarterback, I think he can manage beating the Lions. And the Week 17, it's the same thing as last time. They're just a better team. Uh, the Lions are the best of the bad teams. Chicago shouldn't win this. Chicago is terrible. Um, I really don't like Chicago. I think they're so bad, dude. I think they're so bad. Currently, ironically enough, I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winless teams in the NFC. And that's not going to stay that way, but I just want to acknowledge that. There are currently 5 winless teams in the NFC. But I think this was a capable win for the Bears. And they could trade with the Lions, but I don't know why they would trade with the Lions, you know. The Bears just aren't good, dude. They're just bad. They're just bad. I'm thinking about making them trade with the Lions. Because, like, you know, everyone wins games they shouldn't. And if we're going to look at the Bears, where are they going to win a game they shouldn't? Like, where? Where? I actually just don't see a game they should beat. I don't see a team they should beat, like, ever. Except the Giants. I'm in 1 game. 2 games. No, 1 game. Okay, I don't think the Bears are winning 1 game, but we'll figure that out in a second. You know what? It's a division game. Anything can happen. We're gonna change our mind, and we're gonna have them beating them at home. We're gonna have the Bears trading with the Lions. I'm not 100% convinced on that. The Lions could very well sweep the Bears, but I think the Bears have got to win somewhere. And I don't think this is necessarily a Lions have to lose somewhere. I think this is a situation where the Bears have to win games somewhere, and it's a division game. That's probably the most favored they've been in a game all season. And they're not even favored. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, that's it. On to the Chicago, and I'm still gonna look at the Panthers and see if they won the game. I just think the Panthers are a little bit more proven than the Lions. I think Panthers offense is probably going to be better than last year. And the defense is just a very good defense nonetheless. Alright, I don't think I care about this Panthers anymore. Apparently I lied. Or I should pretend like they did not draft a no lineman. Which maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I actually just have no idea at this point. So the Bears. Oh boy, I can't wait to tell you about how many games the Bears are going to lose. Week 1 versus San Fran. I don't have to go in depth about this. Week 1 versus San Fran. San Fran's just a much better team. Week 2 versus the Packers. The Packers are just a much better team. Week 3 versus Texans. This one's 2 bad teams facing off. And I really could pick Justin Fields, but I think at least at least Davis Mills looked good last year. Like deadass. Davis Mills actually looked good last year. Well, he really didn't. Justin Fields really didn't. And while I think Justin Fields is gonna get better, I don't know how much better. I don't know. I think he's kind of a project that's put in a terrible situation to get better, and he's given really no help. So I think Davis Mills is a little bit not necessarily better, but I think that he has a good wide receiver one. Like Brandon Cooks is a good receiver. I think Mooney, Darnell Mooney, might not be that good. I mean, okay, so I think Darnell Mooney is good. I don't have to Google him. I don't know why I'm Googling him. I think Darnell Mooney is good, but I don't know if he's good as a wide receiver one. I don't think he should be a wide receiver one. I think he's very good. And if he was a wide receiver two, like he was, the previous 2 years, then I think he's great. And he was very good with Justin Fields last year, and I think he's very good. And I think he's on probably the upper half of starting. I think he should be a wide receiver one. I know I just said 2 seconds ago that he should not be, but I think he should be a wide receiver one. But I'm not sure he wants to be a wide receiver one on the Bears. I'm not sure that's where he wants to be a wide receiver one, because that sucks for him. Yeah, I think the Texans are just a little bit better. Not really. I don't think they're much better. I don't think they're better than the Lions. But I already have the Texans winning 2 games, dude. Like, there's only so much I can do. They gotta win games somewhere, right? Like, you gotta realize how unlikely it is for a team to go 0-7 or 0-16. It's 0-17. It's 0-17. You gotta realize how unlikely it is for a team to go 0-17. Like, that just doesn't happen, really. It can happen, but it does not happen a lot. And, like, I don't know, dude. I think, I think they gotta win games somewhere. The Texans and the Bears. That's the only reason I have the beating Lions here. I don't think they're the better team at all, but here we are. Week 4 versus the Giants. 2 horrible teams. 2 of the bottom 2 teams in the league, honestly. Probably bottom 2 teams in the league. Maybe. The Texans are down there too. But I don't know. At least the Texans have like Laramie Tunsil and Brandon Cooks. You know, at least they got like 2 very good players. Like the Giants kind of just don't. I think the Giants suck, and I think the Bears also suck. But I think I trust Justin Fields. Like, look, Daniel Jones is horrible. And while Justin Fields was put in a bad situation last year where he probably was never going to succeed, really, I don't think he was really ever going to succeed last year. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't think any rookie quarterback was going to succeed in the Bears. And I think Fields was probably, you know, he looked decent. He had flashes. But other than that, I don't know, dude. I don't think he was that good last year. That's not a hot take. He just was not good last year. But I think Daniel Jones has shown that he is not good and is not a starting caliber Pokemon. You know, he's not a starting caliber quarterback. Well, I think Fields has promise, at least. I think Fields at least has a little bit of promise that he can be a starting caliber quarterback. And so here we are. They just lost to the Texans. They're gonna beat the Giants. They're not gonna lose to 2 bad teams in a row. Week 5 versus the Vikings. Vikings are the better team, and it's not really close. Week 6, I'm gonna take Washington. I think Washington is a little more. They're more consistent at quarterback. Their running game is more consistent. Their receivers are more consistent. Their defense is more promising because they're gonna have Chase Young back. Like, I think Washington's pretty much better everywhere except tight end. I don't even know who Washington tight end is. I don't even know who the Washington tight end is. Who is it? I don't care. Yeah, I'm blanking. I don't even know who the Washington tight end is. While, the Bears at least have Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney. Yeah, you got someone to throw to, but it's like, as a whole, Washington defense might actually be decent, and at least Carson Wentz has shown that he could be decently consistent, especially versus a bad secondary. I think he's not actually going to make too many bad decisions, and not necessarily a good pass rush. Like, I think Carson Wentz is going to show why he's actually a serviceable quarterback. Week 7 versus the Patriots, Mac Jones is going to ball out, and he shouldn't really be balling out versus anybody because Mac Jones, high floor. He was very good last year. Or, not, he was pretty good last year. But, like, it's not like Mac Jones is going to, be the next Brady or someone. Or, like anyone elite, more than likely. He's good, but and I think he's better than Fields. Like, for the record, I think he's better than Fields. I think there's real receivers on the Patriots, and they're not good receivers, but they're real. While theirs really only have one good receiver, and Darnell Mooney. Like, their wide receiver 2 is Byron Pringle. That's how bad the situation is. um, yeah, it's just not really, a good situation for Fields to succeed. I think Fields is fine, but I think the Patriots are at least in a better coaching scenario. I think they're in a better, situation team-wise. I think while they got worse, they still made it to the playoffs last year, and the Bears were not even close. There's only so much a team could fall off, and they're gonna fall off the Patriots are, but no, they're not gonna fall off enough to lose to the Bears. And Cowboys, Bears, Cowboys are just the better team, especially at home. Week 9, Miami, they're just the better team. Week 10, I have them beating the Lions because I think it's a situation of they got to win games somewhere. And it's a divisional game. Like they can win a divisional game versus the Lions. Well, I don't think they're going to be anything good at all. I think here Goff has a bad game, versus a divisional opponent. Or maybe that Goff doesn't even have a bad game. I just think, I think Fields has a good game, that is. And it might be a little bit much because it's a divisional match, You face them twice. You're really going to lose to the Lions twice. Only so many teams will lose to the Lions twice. Matter of fact, I think only one team would lose to the Lions twice, and that's the Giants. So, yeah. Week 11 versus the Falcons. At least the Falcons have, a little bit of talent. I like Marcus Mariota. I actually really like Marcus Mariota. I'm a little bit more high on Marcus Mariota than most people are, but they still have Kyle Pitts, dude. They still got Kyle Pitts. Their receivers are also really fucking bad. They're really, really bad. But, and the Bears at least have someone. But I think the Falcons' defense is, the pass rush is really bad. The front seven's really bad. But at least their secondary, is a little bit better. At least there's something. And then they drafted, a receiver too. Like, I think the Falcons are going to be a little bit better than the Bears. I think they're probably the second worst of the bad, or the second best of the bad teams, behind the Lions. I think there's the second best of the bad teams. The Week 12 versus the Jets is just two bad teams facing off. I think the Jets, Zach Wilson showed a little bit more promise. And, like, the Jets receivers, too, they're actually, like, pretty decent receiving core. The defense is probably going to be bad, but it's going to be a little bit better. The Jets had a good draft. The rookies are going to show, while the Bears, yeah, the Bears just suck. I think the Jets, while they're not going to be a good team this year, I think they're going to be a little bit better than the Bears. The Week 13, they get the line. They get the Packers away. They're not going to beat. Or they get the Packers at home, but they're not. It's not going to be close. It's not. Week 40, they get a bye week. With Week 15, can they come off a bye week to win the game? Hell no, they can't. The Eagles are just a better team, but it's not really close. Yep, it's not really close at all. Eagles are significantly better, and they're going to prove that, and they're going to destroy them this game. Week 16, the Bills, significantly better. Week 17, they're not going to sweep the Lions and the rest of the bad teams. Week 18, the Vikings are probably in a must-win scenario. They're not going to win. I didn't really explain most of the Bears games, but it's because it's really simple, actually. They go 2-15, and their 2 wins are not because they're a good team. Trust me, they're going to look bad in those wins, too. But one's a divisional game, so anything can happen. And the other one's just against another horrible team that could realistically go 0-17. I don't think I really have to say much about the Bears. They're just bad, like, everywhere. Like, nothing is really promising about the Bears this year. I don't see them coming off with many wins. I really don't. I don't see where they get them, and I don't see them getting them. I don't see where, and I don't see them doing it. So, there's the NFC North standings. You can't see them because they're on the right side of the screen, but they're there, trust me. The Packers winning the division at 11-6, going 4-2 in the division. The Vikings going second, which is actually having a better divisional record than the Packers, but it's not enough because they're outside division games. They go 9-8, probably miss the playoffs. I don't know for certain, but I am almost certain. I am almost 100% sure that the 49ers are better than the Vikings and will have a better record than 9-8. Because currently they don't. They're 3-3 currently, but that does not matter, dude. They're a better team. There's no way. I don't think the Vikings make the playoffs. Unless some crazy crap happens. And you got the Lions at 7-10. They could go a little bit better than that, but I don't see them getting much better than that. I think at best they go 9-8. Um, but they still don't beat. They still don't get second in the division. They probably end up third in the division, even if they get 9-8. And the Bears at 2-15. There's no real promise about the Bears. There's nothing good about them. The only good thing about them is Fields, and that's he might just still suck. He might still just suck. You know, he's still probably not a good pass. He's still not a good passer. He's probably a top 10 rushing quarterback, if that means anything. But you know, in terms of passing, he's like bottom 3 really. He was not a good passer last year. Um, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Yeah. What's gonna become next? We'll look actually. What's gonna be next? I think I'm gonna do NFC South next because I'm a little interested in how I think the Panthers and Falcons do. Because I think both of them actually do a little bit better than most people have them. I think they both suck, and I think the Falcons are terrible. But I think the Panthers are a little bit better than people think. A little bit. Not like they're a playoff team, but I think they're a little bit better than people think. So yeah, we'll see. And the Saints might win the division, honestly. I'm very high on the Saints, and I know most people aren't, but I am. So here we are. Um, yeah, I'll see you guys with the NFC South next.